Hi, how's it going? This is Resident of Collinwood for YouTube, back with another Dark Shadows video for you guys and gals, here to review Dark Shadows, episode 24, written by Art Wallace, narrated by Alexander Molchiaus, directed by John Sedgwick. So, last episode, we got to meet Constable Jonas Carter, and we get even more of Constable Carter in this episode than we did in the previous episode, because, god damn it, there's an investigation underway, and the law of Collinsport must be enforced. And Michael Curry's Constable Carter is going to do that. So he walks into the dining room, where Maggie Evans, Kathleen Lee Scott's character, works, and he's asking for Burt Devlin. Maggie Evans is trying to sell him the lunch special. He's like, no dice. He asks about Burt Devlin. I haven't seen him. You know, he's already. She asked if he's checked his hotel room. He said yes, he wasn't there. So, and that's the tease, really. I think that's, the teases aren't very long, but they're worth it. The opening teases of Dark Shadows really segue the episodes that they are involved with. And that's something any soap opera, whether it's a gothic soap opera or just a general soap opera in general, should goddamn do. And Dark Shadows does that beautifully. So you have Michael Curry, who's waiting, whose character, Constable Jonas Carter, is waiting for this episode. Also, you see this is why they refer to him as Sheriff as well. On the side of his coat, it says Sheriff. I think it said that in the previous episode. I just didn't catch it till this episode, because you get more of a left-sided view of him in this episode than you do in the previous one. So he's Constable and Sheriff. He one man. Well, this, from a fictitious standpoint, it makes sense. Collinsport is a small town. And by the way, to sort of cement what I'm saying, as, he is waiting for the constable, as the constable is waiting for Burke, we see that Carolyn has walked in to the dining room. She sets a bunch of boxes on the table. This girl did some shopping, goddammit, and she deserves it. She goes in and uses the telephone, and she rings up Joe Haskell, letting him know, hey, I'm ready for a lunch date. She goes over to talk to Maggie to order some food for her and Joe. Order 2 hamburgers and 2 coffees, and Maggie jokes, you eating for 2 these days? And, meaning, and if you don't know what that means because you're a virgin, it means, are you eating for you and your baby? That's what that means. So, Carolyn Stoddard, played by Nancy Barrett, says, that's funny. And, this is where Maggie sort of pours her heart out to some degree, tries to find out more information from Carolyn. Like, why are you meeting with Burke? And she goes, I didn't know that my business was the whole town's business. In episode 22, we hear Maggie Evans say about how this is a hick town, meaning it's a small town. But the sense I get from Carolyn in this episode, you're reminded that living in a small town has its own annoyances. There might not be the big crime rate of the city. Sure, there might not be the excitement of murder and mayhem and all that, and shootouts like the Wild Wild West. But small towns are small towns, and when word gets out, it gets out. It gets around. It travels like the wind, my friends. It goes around really fast. So Carolyn's just mad about all this, and walks Joe. And, she says, he's like, hey, what's the hold up? Oh, it's my fault. I was gabbing. Maggie said it was her fault. She was talking. And he said, what was that all? When him and Carolyn sit down, he asked her, what was all that about? And he said, she's like, Burt Devlin. And Joe's face is like, really? Can't I get away from this guy? Look, like, can't I just have one day without Burt fucking Devlin? And no, you cannot. Let's not do it for now. Burke, they cut away, and guess who comes into the hotel lobby? Burt Devlin. Speak of the devil, and he shall appear, my friends. Mitchell Ryan's character, Burt Devlin, does appear, and there is Constable Jonas Carter waiting for him. He waits in the lobby like he said he was going to, and I like how my favorite shot of this episode is the way they shoot Jonas Carter's face while he waits in the lobby before they go to the credits, before they roll the theme. Really well. Again, great job by Dan Curtis Productions. Great job by John Sedgwick. The directors and production really work well together into getting the best shots possible. You could say, oh, it's just a set design, Joel. Yeah, but it's a fucking awesome set design, and don't you ever forget it. So I like this here because you have Mitchell Ryan's Burt Devlin walking over to Jonas Carter, Constable Jonas Carter, and he extends his hand. And Constable Carter extends his hand back in return. He said, I'd like to talk to you. He goes, well, can you want to come in the diner and we can watch me eat? No, I would rather talk to you in your room. I have some questions. And Burt gets the sense that, yeah, I probably know what this is about. So he says, I'll tell you what, let me go grab a sandwich and some coffee, and I'll be right. I'll meet you up in my room. And Jonas says, I'll just wait here for you. And he says, well, you sure I can't get you anything? It's a very civil conversation. Again, Jonas was there 10 years ago. So Jonas is somebody who Burke is very confident in. He will investigate anything properly, even before being questioned. He just knows questions are coming his way instead of just flat-out accusations from baseless allegations from the Collins family. And that's what does come in Burke's room. When they cut to Burke's room, I love, they talk about how, Jonas says, I bet these rooms haven't been changed in like 20 years. And, Burke says, I wouldn't know. I haven't been here all that long. So, which is true, he hasn't. He's been away for 10 years. Got out of jail in 5. I want to stress that. Yes. This is still the same goddamn day of Victoria Winter's second day on the job. Keep that in mind. We're still on that same day. This is more your lunchtime hour or approaching everyone's lunchtime hour. So I'd say this is probably around 11:15. Yes, I'm doing time in Dark Shadows. Okay, sue me. So they're having a conversation. Constable Jonas Carter and Burt Devlin are in Burt Devlin's hotel room. They're having a conversation, and of course, what do you get? You get Constable Carter asking Burke why he went up to Collinwood, why he came back to town, and why he was near Roger Collins' car. Why he was near Roger Collins' car, the reason he's been given. I wanted to buy a car. I thought about buying a car just like it. I wanted to look at it. And Burke explains that the wrench was there when he got there. He just moved it. That's why his fingerprints are on a wrench. And, Constable Carter's like, all right, Burke. And, and he goes, okay, so why are you here? Why did you come back? And, what Constable Carter is basically asking is, okay, I remember 10 years ago. I know what you said. He's not saying those exact words, but that's what he's meaning. They're like, did you really stew all that anger up for the past 10 years? And the answer is yes, but not in the way he thinks. Burke isn't here to kill anybody. It's important to remember that Jonas isn't really wrong here, and neither necessarily is Joan Bennett's um, Elizabeth Collins' daughter. Neither is Louis Edmonds Roger Collins. Yeah, Burke is back to take apart the family, but he's not back to take apart the family and by killing them. He wants to make them as poor as he once was. No joke. He's here to drive them out of business. The way big stores have driven most little stores out of business. So, Burke's, trying to eat his lunch. Those questions get asked, and this is sort of where Burke says, "Okay, you want to know why? I'm gonna call. Carolyn is gonna get a phone call." So back down in the not the drawing room, the diner, you see Carolyn and Joe having lunch and having a conversation. And instead of talking about Burke for once, Joe is talking about boats. That he looked at a boat today, and he and his partner, the guy he trusts, his partner, I think his name is Jerry, are thinking about buying a boat together. So finally, Maggie comes over and tells her that, hey, the constable, they want to see you up in Burke wants to see you up in his room. Don't worry, there's a chaperone. The constable's up there, or the sheriff is up there. So Carolyn does go up to Burke's room, and he says how going up to Collinwood was Carolyn's idea. And yes, that is true. Yes, Carolyn insisted. She invited him, though she wished she hadn't. And Burke even says at the moment, so do I. But after the Constable Carter says that doesn't prove anything, and Mitchell Ryan's Burke Devlin says, well, neither does what you have, which is true. Both are true. When Constable Carter leaves, Carolyn says she wants to talk to Burke. She goes, "You're lucky I didn't tell him about how you told me you were going to leave, and then also that was a lie." And that's what Carolyn is accusing him of, that I just came in town for a short visit. I don't want any problems. Carolyn is admitting that she swallowed that like a gullible idiot, like a gullible fool. Again, I've talked about this. A character being suckered doesn't make the character stupid. It just makes the character vulnerable. And you see that with a lot of characters in Dark Shadows. Vulnerability can make you feel really sorry for a character, especially on how it gets done. There are characters who really do get generally excited and don't think straight and make an offer not thinking logically, and also not knowing the exact situation of what caused the grievance. That, keep in mind, Carolyn didn't know what the beef was between her and Mitch Ryan's Burke Devlin, between her family and Mitch Ryan's Burke Devlin. She knows, by this time, she definitely knows, and she's not too happy with how events have turned out and how she feels she has been used by Burke. And she lets Burke know that, and Burke says, I didn't lie to you. He goes, my plans had changed. Bullshit! You never had plans to leave. Venezuela was a pipe dream, my friends. After Carolyn leaves, we see the phone ring, and Burke Devlin's lawyer is, and it's Burke Devlin. I think it's either his lawyer or a business associate of his. I believe it's his lawyer that is called, that he gets a phone call from. And he's going to meet him in Bangor, Maine. So that's the review of episode 24. It's really, really good. I'm going to give some shout outs here to go. First of all, both Christine Pierce and Kara Tillies from Between the Shadows, Dark Shadows podcast are going to be on my channel Saturday. It's going to be great having them back. We're going to discuss the Dark Shadow sets, which is a lot of fun. It's obviously designed by Cy Komisoff. So, link to their channel will be in the description box. Also, I'm going to give a huge shout out to another friend of mine, one John Philip Betancourt. Yes, he is writing a blog called To Be Night and Be Out. But the blog that I first read of his Return of Dark Shadows. You know what? Both blogs will be in the description box. That's my shout out to him. He is a really, really great writer. Link to the Dark Shadows Daybook Unbound. My buddy Patrick McCrae's Dark Shadows Daybook Unbound will be in the description box. Let's see. Can you tell some links are coming here? A link to Alan's channel is going to be in the description box. Collinsport After Dark, I believe it's called. And link to Penny Dreadful's Terror at Collinwood is remembering is the most important thing in DS. Right? Remembering. And then me remembering all these links. That's going to be the next task I commit to. Alright, guys. I hope you have a wonderful day. Read along of To Be Night and Beguiled tonight. So I hope you guys have a wonderful day.